The title was I Must Confess. Girl, have you not stolen enough from your sister that even your book, you got a ride off of Britney's song title? Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel where we sip and spill the tea on all my favorite things. We're going to be doing a new little segment that I'm going to be calling Tea Talk. It can be about anything, but we're going to be drinking tea while I talk. So maybe that's for you, maybe it's not. If it is, welcome in. Tonight, we're going to be discussing the much talked about Britney Spears. But before we get into that, because I might get a little bit Asian angry, let me tell you guys what I am drinking. I have Adagio white cookie. These are really, really affordable white tea cakes. They're mini compressed tea cakes. Very, very small there. And very easily brewed. And I thought for this special occasion that I would break out my special little pink teapot here that I bought from Yunnan Sourcing. If I remember, I'll put that link down below. The matching teacup. It's kind of looking washed out because of the lights that I have to have over here. It still looks washed out, but it's pretty pink in person. And we're going to be seasoning our egg TEAPET here. Normally I do oolong, but you know what? I grabbed the wrong TEAPET. Let me grab that. Psych, just kidding. I decided I was going to drink an oolong, but since we're going to do white, I'm going to do my little white rabbit. I try to remember it that way. I have a pig for when I did pu'er. In my mind, it makes sense. Now, generally, if I was going to put this in a gaiwan, I would just bloop it right on in there. But to get this to fit, I'm going to break it up a little bit. I've been hesitant to do a video, like a tea talk video, just because I've always been very self-conscious of my voice. I have had people, I've worked many call center jobs, many phone jobs, and it's really weird because people either really love my voice or they really find it cringe. I don't know. I've had some nice things said about my voice, and I've had some not nice things said about my voice. Let's make sure we get all that goodness in there. I used to actually work with someone that she loved my videos, and her boyfriend worked with us too. And he was always so mean, and he would come up to me, and he wasn't joking. He was being serious. And he was like, when I have to go home and hear your voice at night, he was like, he would just say the meanest things, like, anyway. So I've always been self-conscious of my voice. I've never been super girly in that aspect. But then I would get callers that call in and say, girl, I love your voice. It's so sultry. I don't watch a lot of, well, I don't watch the like housewife show, but I've been told I sound like some girl from the Atlanta or Basketball Wild. I can't remember, but whatever. I'll take that as a compliment. I used to get called sir all the time on the phone, and it always hurt my feelings. I'm like, why can't I just be one of those girls that have a super beautiful girly voice? But it was just not in the cards for me to be that awesome. Okay, so I've got my Wilson's kettle. All my links are down below for the kettles that I use. We are going to do a tea rinse on this. Adagio teas are very high quality, so I don't typically rinse it, but I'm going to rinse this one just to kind of loosen up all the tea leaves. And then we're going to get into my opinion, because I feel like if we're going to go into this, I'm going to go in hard. So I'm going to let you guys know, in real life, I am not a super preppy, timid person. I am outspoken. I am a Southern Korean, Southern American Korean. Like, I'm Southern Arkansas Korean. If that's a thing, it's a thing now. So we don't beat around the bush here. We say exactly how we feel. And I have always been raised very strong and hard-headed in that aspect. So if that is not for you, might want to switch off now. But there are some things that I feel like we need to talk about. And it must be pretty bad if we're getting the tea community in on it. You know what I mean? We stay out of all the tea community is a happy place. We stay, I'm going to just give my little rabbit here a little tea taste. We stay out of all the YouTube dramas. We're just over here having tea, watching the tea and listening to the tea. But this isn't going to be like that. You know, I feel it's important that everybody speak up on this issue, because we have somebody whose human rights literally are being violated, and that is not okay. It is not okay. And the more that we talk about it, the more noise that is created, the more opportunity we have to help this person and stop this from happening in the future. That is why this topic is so widely being talked about right now. It's almost unbelievable. Oh, that smells so good. It smells like grapes. Very fruity. Peach, grapes. It's got roasted almond and baked bread thing happening. Oh, I wish you guys could smell that. Kind of a yeasty smell, but it's so good. So good. So if you guys are watching me and you're not sure what the heck I'm doing, I'm brewing Gong Fu style. Gong Fu style tea differs from the way we drink tea as Americans here. Normally, we just put a tea bag or teaspoon of tea into a cup, teapot. We let it pour some boiling water on it. We let it sit for a certain amount of time, remove the tea, drink it, and that's tea. But Gong Fu style is different. What you do is you take a larger amount of tea leaf, you brew it in a smaller vessel, and you brew multiple small steeps. And so what you do is you're really paying attention to the different flavor profiles that come out with each steep. So it is not fast, but it's more enjoyable, and you really stop and be mindful of the tea ceremony. So Gong Fu is all about skilled brewing. And it was really different for me to understand that, but I got it. So now it's so weird if I do pull out like a David's tea mug and plop in some Western style tea is what we call it. And it's just so different than, because I'm so used to brewing Gong Fu now. So anyway, this tea is very easily brewed. I know some of you are like, oh my gosh, you're not counting. No. Adagio white teas, I don't know how they do it, but they're so easily brewed. I still have yet to ever oversteep a Adagio white tea. But I love this little set from Yunnan Sourcing. Beautiful. Scott over at Yunnan Sourcing, he doesn't know who I am, but I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of what they do. And they have just beautiful, unique tea wares and tea. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So definitely support them. It is later in the evening, and so I do, since I have a deeper voice for a female, it gets kind of crackly, so I apologize for that. All right, I've got my tea ready to go, and I'm ready to spill this tea. So, guys, I'm not going to get into everything that's happened in the Britney Spears case, because if you're watching this, you probably already know, and there are not enough hours to catch everyone up on that. But I do have some channel recommendations if you want a deep dive. I right now watch 3 channels exclusively because I am following the story closely. Emily D. Baker, she is the badass lawyer who breaks down all the legal paperwork. And I really love her channel because she makes it so easy to understand what's going on. Sloan, he's more of a drama channel, but he does it in a very professional and caring way. So he reports, but Popcorn Planet, and I forget the guy's name, but he is really genuine and compassionate about this case. And so he is staying up to minute on it. So I appreciate those 3 channels very much. Now, it's important to talk about what's happening to Britney, whether you're a fan or you're not a fan. I'm 36, so essentially I grew up with Britney. And actually, when she was having her boys, I was pregnant at the same time with my children as well. And so, you know, that timeline, it's very close. It's very personal. Was I a die-hard fan for Britney? No. I was an NSYNC girl. Hashtag Team NSYNC. NSYNC will always be superior to Backstreet Boys. No shade, Backstreet Boys. But, I do enjoy her music. I'm not going to lie. I will play her music all day long. My kids actually really love her song Toxic. I do like her music. I mean, I do. But this is going to be more about what they are doing to her. Oh, that's good. Okay. I wanted to address mainly what we're going to talk about is her toxic ass little sister. Now, if you're not sure what's going on, basically Jamie Lynn Spears is Britney's little sister. She is the apple of her parents' eye, and she can do no wrong. And she has been being called out by the Free Britney movement for quite some time. Even before the documentary, people have been calling her out, and she has been making bunk-ass excuses for years, but without ever really saying anything important about Britney. And so there's been a lot of speculation that turned to truth. Britney recently said on her Instagram, she called her little sister out, basically saying she has never supported Britney, and that what Jamie Lynn is doing is basically just trying to project herself in a good light, but it's all lies. And how she even performed Britney's songs back in 2017 at the Radio Disney Award, and how Britney didn't like it. And her family, they've been basically trying to fame boost the little sister through Britney while keeping Britney locked away, allegedly drugged away, and spending her money. Now, here's the thing. The apology video is what got me into the story. I mean, yes, I've been following the Free Britney movement, and I've prayed for her. I'm a Christian. I prayed for her. But when I saw how evil and diabolical that this little sister was, y'all, literally made my blood boil. There were so many red flags with this bunk ass apology video. It's not even funny. First of all, we all know the YouTube apology videos are cringy anyway. Most of the time, it's people who have a lot of money. They're not really sorry. They're just doing it to do it because someone in PR is trying to make them do damage control. We know that. But at least in the majority of them, people try to pretend that they're really sorry. Y'all, this girl came out the gate angry. She was pissed off that she had to stop what she was doing and talk about her sister. And it was like being in a relationship with this narcissistic asshole I dated years ago. I didn't even know what narcissism was until that relationship. I had not dated a whole lot, got married young. I was married for 13 years. And sure enough, when I got back in the dating scene, hooked me a narcissist. And luckily I had a best friend who, I mean, I thought I was going crazy, who explained to me what was happening to me, like the emotional abuse. And so Britney, I think, is just now realizing that she is in a family of narcissist, toxic people. Because in this apology video, she is literally belittling Britney's human rights. She makes quotes saying if Britney wants to have a zillion babies and go out in the rainforest, that she can do that. Just dumb shit. And it's like, Britney's not asking to go have a zillion babies. Britney's not asking to go to the rainforest. She's asking to be able to go in her own car, drive herself. She wants to have a baby. She wants to get married. These are basic human rights. You sound like a spoiled ass little brat. And I could not believe what I was hearing. Could not believe it. And people were saying, oh, well, you know, there's such an age gap. They weren't really raised together. I still call bullshit on that. I am one of 7 children. The oldest being about 40 and the youngest being think he's like 22 maybe. And I know I should know this. There's a huge age gap. There's actually 10 years between one sister and myself. We weren't necessarily raised in the same house. I mean, when I got married and left home, they were young still, and we still cultivated a relationship. We were still very close. So you can't say that, oh, well, they weren't in the same house, that's why they're not so close. I have one sister who we do not see eye to eye as far as the types of lifestyles that we lead, and that's fine. So we have not talked in about 10 years. Oddly, that's a trend right now, 10 years, I guess. And if she called me today, and she lives in another state, and said, hey, Val, I need you, I need you to get here, I would go. I would be there, because that's what family does. If my sister were in a situation that she needed me, or if my sister were famous and there was so much controversy, you best believe that I would be giving statements. You best believe that I would be making so much noise for her. There wouldn't be any doubt that I was fighting for her. And I think that's what surprises me the most, because Jamie Lynn says, well, I didn't support her with a hashtag in the way people wanted me to. We are not asking for a hashtag, you spoiled ass brat. We are asking you, why didn't you fight for her? Why didn't you speak for her? Why didn't you go to the court for her? Because you could have done that. You had no problem being named the trustee on a $600 million account for her children. And then you got caught trying to allegedly withdraw funds from that, and you were denied by the court. Don't sit there and act like you didn't know. And she said in her statement, oh, well, I was waiting for my sister to make a statement. When she wanted to speak on it, then I could. Bullshit. We found out in the June 23rd statement by Britney Spears that Britney was told by her lawyers not to talk, that it would make it worse on her. You guys, it is sickening, the people that are surrounding this poor woman. This woman has been worked since she was a child. It is like Michael Jackson all over again. And Sloan just released a wonderful video showing the eerie similarities between Michael Jackson and Britney Spears, including some of the same managers and people. You guys, I'm scared for her. I'm scared that we are literally watching a Stephen King horror film play out right before our eyes. Is anyone else getting these like creeper ass vibes from this family? And I have so many more questions, not just the family, the original judge on the case pushing it through. Britney never even got to have her say on the conservatorship. So normally, when someone gets put in a conservatorship, they get a statement, or what's the word? They can like rebuttal it and say, no, here's a reason why I don't want a conservatorship. She didn't get to do any of that. They literally signed, sealed, delivered the deal, made the dad temporary conservator, and then boom, pushed through the permanent. She didn't even know what was going on. So I have so many questions legally on how that happened. And that judge, I want to know like how he did that. And he doesn't get off scot-free just because he's not in office anymore. Like, somebody needs to do some investigation on that, because I have questions. So many questions on that. But back to the sister. You guys, I literally, my skin was crawling so bad just watching this girl. And then, I'm thinking to myself, it really surprises me because they're from Louisiana. I personally know people in Louisiana. Like, I've stayed, one of my nail clients has family down there, and I've stayed with them twice. And you guys, their sense of family and community is unlike anything I have ever seen. Some of the kindest people and So I am surprised to see that, like, just letting her, feeding her to the wolves and taking her money, and that there's not a part of her that's like, yo, that's my sister. Like, regardless, that's my sister. There's no genuineness coming from her face, from her mouth. It is literally like looking evil in the eye. It is so disturbing. And then, you know, I'm thinking to myself, you would have been better off saying nothing. Like, you honestly would have been better off not saying a darn thing and just, you know, letting it do its course. But now that you've done that, there is no doubt that you are a terrible person. And then you think that as a public, that we're dumb enough to fall for all of your BS, your fake ass apology video. Supposedly, she's going to put out a book, and the title was I Must Confess. Girl, have you not stolen enough from your sister that even your book, you got a ride off of Britney's song title? They have since changed the title of the book on Amazon after much backlash. Girl, no one is buying your book. I can promise you it will be in every Dollar Tree, and they're going to end up having to burn that ish because no one is going to buy it. I would never give you a red cent of my money. Ever. I don't give two snaps what you have to say. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I don't care what this little girl has to say. She is literally the epitome of spoiled ass brats nowadays, right? I grew up in a different time where you had to work for everything. Things were not handed to you. And here she is. The other component is she's on Instagram just flaunting everything, knowing that her sister can't just go pick up her kids, take her kids to the beach. There's, you know, they've talked about this expensive condo that was Britney. So while they had Britney locked away in rehabs and stuff, they were going and staying in her $1 million condo down in Destin. And just like flexing just Britney stuff. I mean, how sick do you have to be? And here's the thing. There are tweets, there are interviews where she's talked about this condo, tweeted being at this condo, and then she lies. And then now she's saying, Britney's never bought me a condo and I don't own a condo and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, girl, the internet is forever. When you are in the public eye, everything is being documented, screenshotted, downloaded, printed. There is always somebody there snapping a picture. It's too easy. Everything is documented. And I didn't even know this, but on Instagram, it will even tell you if people delete posts and like how many they've deleted and the time frame they've deleted it in. Y'all. I mean, it's good as far as proving receipts and stuff, but dang. And I was just really disgusted. I mean, as a woman, as a mother, and as a human, I am just disgusted, and I feel helpless that there is somebody in this situation and I can't do anything. I mean, I wish I could just get in my car, go rescue her, and get her some Dunkin' Donuts. You know what I mean? And just get this girl away from this stuff, you know? And be like, come down to Arkansas, we'll fatten you up, make you some bacon and stuff. But I just, it's so bad. It's so bad. The other thing, sorry, I made some notes here. The other thing I wanted to touch on was, if you guys are looking into this, or you guys are following the story. So I don't try to go to her Instagram. I don't try to give her any support at all. There's actually a petition to get her canceled off Netflix, off of her a show she's on, something Magnolia, Sweet Magnolias or something. And I will, if I remember, I'll leave that link down below. But I've signed that. I've been putting that like on every video, just, you know, trying to help spread the word of that, because I don't want anybody supporting this girl. This is not okay. This is not okay. Someone's human rights are being violated. You're openly a part of this. And I don't feel like Netflix that's a good choice for them having her on anyway. I literally will cancel my Netflix subscription. I'm sure they won't miss my $20, but I will know that I'm not supporting a company that is supporting her. Now, if you go to her Instagram, some of you may or may not agree with this statement because maybe you're a mom, maybe you're not, maybe doesn't bother you. This is going to be subjective. But as I was on there and she's flexing that she is staying at the Ritz because she wants everyone to believe now that there is no condo, that she's never stayed in a condo, even though there are multiple receipts showing she has. But whatever. There's all these pictures of her daughters in their bathing suits. And that does not sit well with me. That does not sit well with me. I don't feel like in this day and age that you should be posting pictures of your daughters in their bathing suits. Now, I know some people might not agree with me, but there are creepers out there. And when you're a celebrity, and here's the thing, she is reaching so far because she's now blurring out her children's faces in her Instagram post. But she didn't do that the whole time she's had Instagram. It's something new she's doing for attention. And I'm like, girl, you have posted so many pictures of your children. We know what they look like. If somebody wanted to come find your children, it wouldn't be hard because you literally just now started blurring their faces out. And I feel like that's just such a spoiled brat little thing. Like, oh, don't look at my kids' faces. But what do you want us to look at? Because you're blurring out their faces, but you have a teenage daughter and you were posting pictures of her in a bikini. That's not classy and that is not cool. It's not cool at all. And then there was a really awkward picture of her like hunkered over a bathtub. She looked like freaking Schmeagol off Lord of the Rings. I don't know what was happening, but it was like a tub that was filled up. She's like over it with like a leg. Girl, that is not it. We do not want to see a fried chicken leg up over a tub. It was not sexy. I don't know. Were you trying to be like Chrissy Teigen? Were you trying to be model? What are you trying to accomplish there? Because it was not working. And I'm not just trying to be negative and put somebody down, but it was awkward. It's awkward to look at. Just if I remember, I'll post a picture. It is awkward to look at. Very awkward. But I was more put off as a mother that she's posting pictures of her daughters like straight up in their swimsuits. I'm like, that's private. Like, you want your kids to be private. You're blurring their faces. So clearly we're not looking at their faces. So you want us to look at their bodies. This is weird. Guys, it is so strange. So strange. But this is also the mother who let her 8-year-old drive a 4-wheeler and nearly drown and kill herself too. Now, I'm not trying to like parent shame here, but come on. There is no way I would ever have let my children when they were 8 years old on an ATV by themselves. Everyone in the South knows, no ma'am. Like, you don't do that. Super tragic story. I actually had a cousin growing up that's how he died, on a 4-wheeler. And it was extremely tragic. He actually had a son with one of the girls in my class. And he was on the 4-wheeler. And I guess there was some old barbed wire like tied across a tree. And he ended up, hitting it. And it was bad. And it killed him instantly. So, I mean, the thing is, when you live down in the South, you know that. And so I think, again, to me, I'm kind of like getting trashy vibes. I mean, I'm getting trashy, irresponsible vibes here. But it's also no secret that their dad is an alcoholic. I don't know what the mother situation is, but this woman, Lynn Spears, has no damn backbone as a Southern woman. I saw a comment on one of the videos from someone saying they were from that part of Louisiana, and that's how women were, that, you know, women just had to be with who they were with. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. Now, I don't know if y'all do things differently one state over, but here in Arkansas, if we don't like somebody, we divorce them. We don't stay with them because we have to. We don't stay with them because we will be ashamed of our little town. I actually grew up in the town where Bobby Bones lives. We are from Mountain Pine, Arkansas. And growing up, how many people did we have? 600, 700 people, maybe. And it's funny because Bobby Bones lived like 4 houses down, L-shaped, from us. So I could stand on my mom's porch and I could see his house. So that's kind of funny. It's a very small town. I mean, you sneeze and everybody knows. So I don't buy that shit either. Like, oh, she was abused wife. She this. No. No. No, that doesn't fly. We are not in the Victorian era. You are not stuck with your husband. You're not stuck. It's not Bridgerton, however you say it. Guys, divorce has been around since the late 1800s. I believe. I was watching a Victorian video actually on divorcing and things like that. I think, if I'm wrong, please don't yell at me. But divorce has been around for a while. So anyway, I felt like if I was going to talk about it, I go all around the world when I talk. So I really have to rein it in and make some notes. So I hope you guys can stick with me through that. But maybe right now you're just drinking your tea, maybe just listening, or maybe I'm playing in the background. But whatever the case, if you guys made it through the whole video, I'm very appreciative of that. Let me know if you guys like this format of video. I just thought I would try something new for you guys and just kind of give my opinions out there. I know that Britney will never see this, but in the event that she ever did, or anybody in an abusive situation where they feel like they don't have help, or that they are alone, or that they don't have anybody, you are not alone. There is somebody that cares for you in the world, and you are strong, and this day will come and go, and there will be a new tomorrow. And I know that this is such a cliche thing to say, and my friend used to tell me this all the time, that this too shall pass. And I'd always be like, yeah, okay. But it really does. It really does. When I have been in some tough spots in life, very low spots, and after I get through them, I look back and I'm like, okay, you did it. You know what? That wasn't so bad. Val, you did it. You know? So I think it's important that everybody know that. You know, you just gotta like take a breath and reset, because listen, I have been through it too, you know, and I'm not going to make this about me. It is not about me. But I don't think that there are enough people on their platforms talking about mental health. I think one thing that really gets me about YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the things, Snappy Ghost, whatever that thing is. I don't let my kids have the Snappy Ghost. There's this portrayal of perfection. It's, oh, look, I'm so skinny. I have a beautiful body. Or, you know, my life is so perfect. My husband is so perfect. My kids are so perfect. And I think we all have at least one person on our socials that is like that. I mean, I have one person that's like that. And, you know, I don't even know why I keep them on there, because it's all fake. It's all fake. And it's like, and if it's not, then that really is good. But that's just not the way that life is. And I'm not saying post tragedy and post bad things, but you don't have to put every moment of your day on there. And it doesn't have to be Starbucks, and I'm going to be real careful with what I say. It doesn't have to be just bragging, showing off from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, you know. And I've tried to rein back on that even myself. And I try to think, you know, if someone's seeing my feed, what can I put, you know, that maybe will help them or inspire them? And that's not something I've always done. It's not something I always do, but I'm trying to do it more. I'm trying to be mindful of that, because I know what it's like to be at such a low point and think, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. I don't know that I'm going to make it through this. And I will see like a little quote or something, and I'm like, it gives me a little hope. Or when I see like a Bible verse, anything like that. And I know this sounds dumb, but when you're at a low point, something as simple as that can help pull you back out of that hole. And so if you are going through something, you are not alone. There are people that can be there for you. You just need to reach out and ask. And I know how hard that is, especially me being a big personality. In real life, I'm a big personality. And unfortunately, I'm really loud. Like, I've been told that my whole life, and I can't do anything about it. I don't know if I have a hearing problem, but I am naturally loud. I'm Polish and Korean. I am loud. So that is what it is. But, you know, I mean, you just have to like embrace all of those things about yourself. And, you know, that's one thing, you know, I'm trying to do as well, is really just embrace who I am. Hey, you know what? I'm loud. This gonna be me. So God forbid if anybody tries to kidnap me, everybody's gonna hear me, because I'm gonna be real loud about it. So with me being such a big personality, sorry, I need my friend to... My best friend does hair, and I need her to cut these bangs. With me being such a big personality, sorry, my thoughts are always all over the place. I'm trying to keep them collected. People always just assume that you're okay because, you know, you're making everyone laugh. Like when I'm in a workplace, I'm going to make everyone laugh. And I don't know if we were just born that way, but my mom is really funny. And I have some videos, you'll just have to go back and look. My mom is funny. My mom could have had her own reality show and been famous. My mom is hilarious. And I think it's because my mother went through so much that you really just learn to have a sense of humor, or otherwise life is just going to consume you up. And I do truly believe that is why my mother is so funny. And maybe that's probably true about me. I think she rubbed off on me a little bit, because we did not have the best life, but we did not have the worst life. We definitely had some trials and tribulations, and we'll save those for other videos. But you really have to learn to just make the best of it and laugh. But you also have to be careful of those people. I often think about like Robin Williams, you know, and unfortunately his tragic ending, because people don't think to check on the funny people. It's like, oh no, they're good. They're always making people laugh. But really it's those people that need people to check on them. And I am pretty lucky. I do have a small circle of friends, and they do check on me. Hey, you know, how you doing? Or maybe they notice like something was off, maybe even if I'm not saying anything. So make sure you check on your happy friends as well, because it is those that tend to carry burdens, and they don't want to come out and say it. They don't want to, you know, be that person. And I know that all too well. Just like, okay, I'm going to go in. I'm going to pretend like everything's okay. I don't want people asking questions. I don't want people knowing. I don't want people in my business. And so there's that stigma of, oh, she's got problems, blah, blah, blah. And especially for me being in such a small town and having the family that I had, who is pretty well known for not good things, there was all this pressure to always pretend that I was doing okay. And that, I mean, not that I wasn't doing okay. I'm saying I went through things, you know, when I decided to divorce and do things. And again, that's for another show. But, you know, I wasn't okay emotionally, I guess. And so, you know, you kind of living in a small town, you kind of have to pretend, you know, it's okay, I'm going to be funny. Because if I'm funny and I'm making people laugh, then people, you know, aren't going to talk about me behind my back. Or maybe not talk about me as much. Or maybe they're not going to judge me for what my brothers did because I'm so funny. Or because I'm a good person. Because I have a good personality. And that kind of weight will wear down on a person. And that's something that I've struggled with my whole life. Especially when my brothers really started down their paths. And typical of our family, when we do something, we're going to do it big. So, I mean, I understand a little bit of what that's like. You know, just having to carry that with you. And sometimes, you know, I'll see posts from other people that I've worked with or acquaintances, and I will inbox them and say, hey, are you all right? You need somebody to talk to? Because I recognize the signs, and I feel like it's important to put that out there because I have, unfortunately, you know, I say I'm not going to make this about me, but I lie because that's where it's going. I've gotten my rant over about Britney, and now we're talking about mental health, which I feel like is so important. I feel like there's not enough people out there talking about it because they don't want to be embarrassed. But I'm okay with talking about it because I have a small circle of friends. And so, you know, I know that the people that are here for me are here for me. But, excuse me, I did have Chipotle earlier with my sister-in-law, so y'all will have to excuse me. I think that it's, you know, I have been there. And there's only a handful of people who really know that. But I have been to the point where I have not wanted to live anymore. And I have been at a very dark place. And sometimes when you just feel like you're so overwhelmed that there's no way out, that there's nothing that's going to, you know, help you carry on or get through your situation, that's scary. And I can tell you right now that when I was at those points, I would go into work the next day being more funnier than ever. Is that a word, funnier? I'd be more funnier than ever. People wouldn't even know that, you know, the day before, you know, that night I was at my lowest in the bathroom, just contemplating life and death. And that is hard to come out and say that someone is going to watch this video on YouTube and hear me say that. But that is the truth. And that is very real. And I have such a good best friend. She's older than me. I've always hung out with people older than me. And she's such a good person. And I've been, you know, really fighting my own depression, especially since COVID. Everyone has their problems. I've always been a bigger girl, always been chunky, but I've put on some weight that I really have been struggling to get off and dealing with the body image issues and all of that. And I've always been a bigger girl and I've always been okay with that. But it's been a different thing knowing, golly, man, I just like, I can't get this weight off. I can't get motivated. I can't do anything. I don't want to do YouTube today. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to text people. And you start falling into depression, and maybe yours didn't start with weight. Maybe it's something else. Anything can trigger depression. And once you start rolling downhill with it, it's like this dark cloud that just consumes you, and you don't want to bother anybody with it. And so what I've noticed in my own life is that I can distance myself from people, and, you know, it can be dangerous because sometimes people just think, oh, she's busy, she's whatever. But really, I want someone to talk to, but everyone's got their own things going on. You don't want to reach out and be that problem. You don't want to reach out and go, well, you know, right now I'm at a pretty low point, you know, and people don't want to just come out and say that, but that's what needs to be said. I mean, with depression, you carry all these things inside of you and like, you know, beat yourself up about it. And you don't want that dark cloud on anybody else. But I think that if we talked about these things more, people would begin to recognize in their best friends and their loved ones things that are happening. During COVID, I was put on like anxiety, depression medicine. It made me so sick, y'all. Was terrible, terrible. And I literally had to wean myself off of them. And the doctor like could not believe. And I literally thought I was going to end up in the ER. I thought I was having a heart attack. I weaned myself off the way they said, and it was awful. And I vowed, I was like, look, I'm never going to go back on any of this stuff again. It made it worse. They're like, oh, it'll make it where, you know, your downs aren't as bad and blah, blah. I mean, maybe it works for some people, but for me personally, I was like, look, I've got to dig deeper in the Bible. I've got to soul search. I've got to get myself right. And I love yoga. I haven't been doing it, but I love it. Brian got me into that. Really loved yoga. Such a stress release. And their tea, like Gong Fu tea, is such a big therapy for me because it's a moment to sit down for myself and be mindful of what I'm doing. I love to journal. There's so many other things. Now, I'm not saying don't go get on medicine. That's a whole debate. I'm saying, though, not everyone needs it. Not the way that doctors prescribe it. I don't agree with Big Pharma. I think that a lot of people are overly medicated. And, you know, I didn't want to become a statistic like that. I really, really did not. So, boy, we have went around the world in this tea talk, haven't we? Whew, y'all weren't ready for that. But let me just sum it up. Just watch your friends. And if someone is pulling away, someone is distancing themselves, they're canceling out of arrangements or get-togethers, you guys, those are all signs that, hey, they're going through something and they just don't want to bother anybody. And most of the time, I'm sure people wouldn't be bothered to listen. They just don't know what to look for. And you know, we are so lucky that we had people like Chris Crocker who recognized that Britney was not okay. He was called crazy. He was made fun of. I think he has something called CPTSD from all the hate that he got. But he was able to recognize that something was not okay with her. And if we talked about these things more, and yeah, there's Google. Yeah, there's warning signs, but coming from someone who's not afraid to say like how I felt and how I like pull away when I'm like going down, you know, like a low point, you know, might help someone out there recognize that a loved one is going through something. But again, it takes a lot of courage to come out and say, hey, I'm just not okay. I'm not okay. I'm not doing okay. I don't feel okay. I feel sad. I feel tired. I feel depressed. I feel low. I feel like I don't really care if tomorrow comes, because these are not normal. But they're not normal to stay in those lows. But it is normal to experience those. And I think sometimes people get those mixed up. Like, oh, I need something, like I don't feel okay. No, because I know people who were very addicted to Xanax. I used to work with people and I was like, girl, you got to calm down. It is like, you're going to be okay, you know? So yeah, there are people who use excuses, but it is okay to experience lows. What's not okay is not being able to pull yourself out of those lows, is what I'm trying to say. So just look for that in your loved ones and pay attention to that. And because when someone is already down and they're already depressed, they don't need people making it worse on them. And so that's why it's hard for people to come out and say, yeah, I suffer with anxiety. I suffer with depression. I suffer with, I'm bipolar, or I'm this or I'm that. Because people want to label you as crazy. And even though we don't officially know what Britney Spears was diagnosed with, no one, the public doesn't know. Those records are sealed. You can watch Emily D. Baker, because some people will try to say dementia, but that's never actually been proven. So we can't judge, but just pay attention to people around you, and, you know, really try to help those people out. And yeah, I don't want to keep, because I could just keep going in circles. So I don't want to do that. I feel like this video is already long enough, and you guys are like, damn, Valerie, like, okay, we started out with tea. We talked about the tea with Britney. We talked about mental health. We brought it back to Britney, you know. Anyway, so I overtalked. I do that. I'm sorry. If you know me in real life, girl, I'm going to take you around the world. I already said that. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you guys want to see more videos or have any topics that you want me to talk about, I would love to do that with you. And I will take your suggestions, and we'll have some tea talk. If we can get enough people together, we could do this live and we could chit chat back and forth, which would be really fun. So I'll see everyone in my next video. If you haven't subscribed, do so. All my socials are down below. I'm mainly on Instagram every day. But like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys real soon.